Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
You can see me as well, right?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic.
In Zoom, you should be able to see yourself when you're presenting.
No. Something has gone wrong.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Srikanth. I'm Head of Operations for AyurUniverse. We are India's largest wellness portal offering preventive wellness, ailment management, and online signature programs in yoga, Ayurveda, and naturopathy for global customers since 2016. We have more than 300 wellness centers hosted in our portal, spreading across India, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. We plan to go global in the next few years. So far, in the last 4 years, customers from 65 different countries have booked their wellness programs to AyurUniverse. We are the only e-commerce portal approved by the Department of Tourism in Karnataka and also the Government of India. We are the member of a Global Wellness Institute, California. Today, we have a webinar that is being presented to you on at-home Ayurvedic detox. There's a elite panel to take you through the presentation. We have Dr. Ashwini Konur. She's an Ayurvedic physician. We have Shabri Madappa and Shukti Dutt and Jayashankar, who have gone through the program. And I will allow them to take a couple of minutes and introduce themselves, and then we can get started with the presentation. Okay, Ashwini, would you like to start?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Ashwini V. Konur, and I have 13 years of experience in treating Ayurveda patients, and also I'm practicing yoga from past 18 years. When I treat my patients, I see to it that they are treated holistically. And DIY was something which was introduced to benefit everybody so that everybody experiences what Ayurveda is. So I'm associated with AyurUniverse for past 4 years, and I've also worked as a senior research fellow in FRLHT for 6.5 years. And then I moved on to China. I worked there for 6 years. And now I have my own center in Bangalore, which is called Amrit Ayurveda. Along with it, I work with AyurUniverse as well. Thank you.
Okay, who is going next?
Srikanth, are you going next or should I?
You are going next. I already introduced myself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shabri Madappa. I live in Bangalore. And as a profession, I work in the space of leadership consulting. I've been in the corporate sector for over 25 years. And personally, this was my second attempt at an Ayurvedic detox program, but my very first, of course, doing it by myself at home. So excited to be here. All of you.
Okay, I'll go next.
Yeah, please.
Okay, hi, everyone. I'm Shukti Dutt. I'm a teacher by profession. I've been teaching for the last 20 years. Struggling with weight has been a problem with me for a long time. I've tried different diet programs. So finally this year, I tried this program by AyurUniverse, and it was a pretty cool experience. So that's why I'm here to share my experience with the whole program. So hi to everybody.
I'll go now. Hi, everyone. This is Jayashankar here. I too live in Bangalore. I'm a software manager. I work in a company where we build HR software. I have done a few Ayurveda programs, actually at least half a dozen or so over the last 10 years. This was my first DIY experience with AyurUniverse, and I'm here to share that experience with all of our viewers. Thanks.
Well, thank you, everybody, for that nice welcome. And I look forward to ask you a lot of questions. And let's give a great experience for the viewers. Okay, Ashwini, I have this first question for you.
Yeah.
What is Ayurvedic detox? And what can be done at home and why should it be done at home?
Okay. So Ayurvedic detox. Detox means ama or the non-metabolized particles in the body. So Ayurveda has these panchakarma treatments. Pancha is 5 and karma is the procedures. So the 5 detoxification procedures what are there in Ayurveda are Vamana, Virechana, Nasya, Basti and Rakta Mokshana. So out of these panchakarmas, everything is based on the doshas. And Virechana, which is one of the panchakarma treatment, helps you in not only reduction of pitta or balancing of the pitta, but it also helps in balancing of the vata and the kapha. So Virechana helps in balancing of all the 3 doshas. And that is a treatment something which can be done at home, even if you take it like a clinical service. So doctor gives you the medicines and he is in contact with you directly. So you are treated at home, you're just monitored. So DIY became up this idea because most of them do not have the time to spend for themselves, and they are like, they don't have time yet. Detoxification would be a necessity. So for them to experience the program sitting at their home, doing their daily work, we came up with this DIY program, and Virechana is something which you can do at home, okay, but with a regular monitoring of an expert or a doctor on a daily basis.
Okay. All right. I already heard that Shabari, you have done this before, and I'm going to ask this question to all of you. What is the reason that you decided to do this at-home detox? Shabari, you go first because you already done this. I just want to know the reason why you decided to do this again.
Sure. So there were a couple of reasons why I wanted to do a detox. And when this program came my way through my friends at AyurUniverse, it sounded like something I could definitely try for a couple of reasons. First is that while I was keen to experience some level of weight loss, that wasn't my primary intention. The nature of my work included a lot of travel, irregular eating and irregular sleeping habits. And I felt that I wasn't really focused on keeping well. And I knew that I was ignoring my well-being as such. And so therefore the detox was something that I was wanting to do to just feel better and get a sort of control over my lifestyle. The second reason I did it, which what Dr. Ashwini said as well, I'd been putting this off and saying, I don't have the time, I don't have the, my schedule, excuses that are pretty easy to find if you want to put off taking care of one's. Lockdown began and I realized that there was something that I could do at home. That was what enabled me to actually say yes and go for this. Shrikant, I can't hear you.
So what I said is when a lot of people were cursing the lockdown, you found it a boon for yourself and you made use of that. Great.
Well said, actually. And it was a fairly easy process to do at home.
Right.
And yes, as your other panelists was also share their experience. But yes, I think that was definitely something which prompted me to say, I do have the time now, no more excuses, and time to actually experience it.
Fantastic. All right, Shruti?
Okay, so like I said before, that weight and me have been friends for a very long time, and like a yo-yo for me. And I've tried lots of diets, but I'd never tried a Ayurveda one. And a few of my friends did it, and everyone was speaking very highly of it. And I found it unique that I could do it sitting at home. With the doctor monitoring everything. So that was the hook for me. So I was looking at it primarily for weight loss and also detox that went along with it. So something that I could fit into my busy schedule and still not, have too much to worry about with regards to the diet, because other diets have required me to, have a list of things to buy and, go shopping for this, shopping for that. But this one is like everything was just dunzo to me. And I just had to follow a schedule and go to work. And it was so simple to do. So for me, that was really wonderful. And I got a lot of people who've done it in my apartment complex were raving about it and saying great things about it. So I was like, okay, let's try this. And that's why I got it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so we will get to the benefits in a little while. Let me ask the same question to Jayashank.
Yeah. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. What is the reason that you decided to do the Ayurvedic detox at home?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, that I have been trying a lot of Ayurveda programs from maybe for the last 10 years. And I was very curious to see how the do-it-yourself at home works.
Okay.
My general reason for trying out anything in Ayurveda is I get a sense of well-being or sense of, it's a very internal feeling that I get, which I feel like I've cleansed, and I'm, it's very difficult to describe it in words, but I just feel clean or happier inside. So that was the primary reason that I tried this program, apart from the curiosity of the do it yourself at home.
All right. Okay, great. So Ashwini,
Yeah.
can you take us through the process? What is the Panchakarma in general? You mentioned about 5 different techniques that are being used. And what is very specific about the Virechana that you mentioned, and the entire process, if you can take through, it will help.
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, Panchakarma are the 5 treatments. Vamana basically is vomiting, which expels the kapha, excess of kapha from the body. Virechana, which is through loose motion or through purgation, the detoxification happens, and it is basically monitoring or balancing the pitta dosha. Basti, on the other hand, is medicated enema treatment that goes on, and that is to balance the vata dosha. Nasya is nasal installation of the oil, and this is to take care of the ENT, to balance any disorders in that, and especially it's called Nava and tonic, you can say. And that again is something else which you can do it at home with the regular monitoring of the doctor. And the last one, which is Rakta Mokshana. Rakta Mokshana is bloodletting. So all these, that is to balance the Rakta. So according to Sushruta, Rakta is another dosha. He considered it as another dosha. So balancing of anything related to blood is through Rakta Mokshana. But out of all these, Virechana and Nasya are the 2 things that you could do at home. And Pratimarsha Nasya, that is everyday usage of oil to your nose, that is indicated on a daily basis so that you are active throughout the day. Okay. And Virechana is a program where in 10 to 16 days, in that number of days, your entire body is going to get cleansed. And it not only balances the pitta, but also it takes care of vata and the kapha dosha. And it is with regular monitoring of, I'm specifying it again and again because you should be monitored by a doctor or by an Ayurvedic physician on a daily basis. Otherwise, you don't know what is going to happen because every person is different. So if you are regularly monitored by a Vaidya, then yes, you could do it at home. Okay. So what happens in our DIY program, what we have planned is we stick on to the Shastras and we follow the same pattern. So it can be divided into 4 phases. So the first phase is 3 to 5 days where your metabolism is improved. So medication is given in the form of powder or tablet, okay, or it could also be given in a liquid form so that your appetite increases. When I say appetite, it is not only your digestion, your entire metabolism has to increase. So each and every cell has to have its own digestive fire. So the mitochondrial activity also increases. So that is done in 3 to 5 days. So followed by that, the next phase from the 4th or the 6th day is the intake of ghee. When I say ghee, it's not the normal desi ghee or the cooking ghee what we use, but it is the processed medicated ghee, which I'll be giving either in the order of 30 ml, 60 ml, 90 ml, or it could be doubled like 50, 100. It is based on the digestion of the person. And then after that, so yeah, morning 7:30, this ghee, medicated ghee is given. We are asked to warm the ghee and take it in the morning on an empty stomach, followed by sipping of hot water every now and then. And they are asked to eat only when they are hungry. So if they take around 30 ml, they would feel hungry only by around 11:30 or 12 o'clock based on the digestion. And the other days also, if metabolism has improved, then the hunger sticks on to the same time every day.
Okay.
But for others, they also might, like as the quantity of ghee increases, the hunger also gets pushed. Okay. So here one has to note that the entire 11 or 16 days, they have to follow a very strict diet. So diet is porridge. Porridge either made out of red raw rice, or it is made out of rava or suji, or it can also be made out of moong dal or even foxtail millet. Okay, depending on their what they are looking into, we fix those diet, and we do make changes in between when I talk to them. Like for some, I may ask them to add vegetable. If they are not looking really into weight loss, I may ask them to add vegetables for the first 5 days. But when they are taking ghee, it's no vegetable. It's just porridge with salt and jeera, nothing else. Okay, a liquidy or semi-solid porridge is what they are allowed to take. Okay, so this quantity of ghee increases, and ghee snehapana should not be given more than 7 days. Okay. So within that period, they usually get this snigdha lakshana, what is called as snigdha lakshana. That is when the entire body has been lubricated inside out. Okay. How do we know that? Is each cell of the body, when it is when the ghee enters, like ghee has a very similar texture to that of the cell membrane. So through osmosis process also it enters. So when it enters, you feel greasy outside. That is when you take bath and come outside. Then when you draw a line on your skin, especially on your hands from your nails, you should not feel it white. Okay. So that is when you should feel as if you have applied a moisturizer. So that is when we know that it has gone to each and every cell, it has reached. Okay. So this ghee has the property of Agni Deepana and Pitta Shamana. So Agni Deepana, as I said, it increases the mitochondrial activity, it increases the metabolism. And Pitta Shamana is it reduces the excess of Pitta in the body. Okay. So at the same time, it also helps in liquefying the ama in the body, or the undigested particles in the body. Okay. So this is what happens when you are taking ghee or when you are taking snehapana, right? And then followed by this is the 3 days of massage, either in the form of powder massage or in the form of oil massage. So what this does is it brings the liquefied toxins to the nearest exit point. So it improves the circulation in the process. It also reduces the subcutaneous fat, and it kind of tones the body. Okay. So it also brings the liquefied toxins to the nearest exit point, that is the intestines. And the last day, depending on how many motions they have passed through all these days, and also during the time of the Abhyanga or Udvartana, the last day medicine is given so that he or she purges out the toxins from the body. So a person can pass anywhere between 10 to 30 times of motions.
Wow.
And then he or she should take the medicine morning at 8 o'clock, followed by sipping of hot water. And they have to keep reporting me how many times they passed, what time they passed, what was the consistency, and the color of the motion. Okay. So that I could analyze. And they are asked to sip hot water every now and then so that they stay energetic. And it is not diarrhea, so you won't get tired like that.
Okay.
So you're still healthy, you are still active. You just are required to drink hot water, sip hot water every now and then. In this process, some might vomit on the last day when they are having loose motion, they might vomit, but it is okay. If there is excess of kapha as well, they tend to puke at least once or twice, but it's fine, nothing to worry
Okay.
about. So, but last day, it's basically loose motions that happen, and only when they are hungry, they are supposed to take porridge without salt. That is the first diet on the last day. And depending on how many motions they have passed, they will be shifted back slowly to a normal diet.
Okay.
And after that, they are given what guidelines on what to avoid for a certain number of days, what to follow, so that they can carry over the benefit further along.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ashwini. So what I understood is that there are 4 different phases. And what I want to know from people who have gone through this program is, what was easy? Because she spoke about medicated ghee, ganji, and loose motion in the last. It kind of, people who are seeing this for the first time, it may sound a little scary. So I just want to know, since you all have gone through the program, that too, I think you've gone through the program at least like some 2-3 months before. I think before the lockdown, or maybe some people. Shabri, I know that you went through the lockdown period. What was easy for you through the entire process, and what was difficult? Who is going first?
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so what was easy for me was, I think the ghee taking part was both easy as well as hard. Easy was that the instructions are really easy to follow, and I'm someone, you tell me what to do and I will do it to perfection, right? So for me, following instructions was very easy. Doing exactly what the doctor said was the easiest part for me to do. Taking the ghee as the quantity started increasing, being able to swallow it got a little difficult. It wasn't impossible, but it felt a little queasy. But then Dr. Ashwini's hand-holding right through the entire process really made that very, very easy. I mean, there were days when if I didn't report to her within the time that she told me to, I would get a message from her instantly asking, are you okay? What happened? You were supposed to do this by now. Have you done it? And then if you feel like this, have a little bit of this, have a little bit of that. So I thought that part was really wonderfully guided by her and made everything so easy. So yeah, for me, I think the ghee part was both easy as well as difficult. So that was my experience.
Okay. Shanky, would you like to go next?
Yeah. Well, I think like Shukti said, it's both easy and you have to do a completely different way of eating and living for 15 days. I think that's the difficult part. With every progressive day, you have to keep your mind on track over there, right? So it's very easy to fall off and say, let me just eat a biscuit here and there. So that's basically the most difficult part. But once you get used to it, it becomes easier. So it becomes easier progressively. I mean, actually, it's the other way around. It starts with being difficult and becomes easier relatively over time. The seemingly difficult parts like, ghee and the motion experience, I think those were actually not as difficult as it sounds.
Okay.
As I said, the difficult part was just staying on track for 15 days.
Right. Okay. Shabri?
So I'll class on what both Jaishankar and Shruti said on several elements. I will add what makes it easy, which is the fact that it's a very holistic and customized and so, yes, like Dr. Ashwini not only is very firm and she's, keeps in touch with you. So having someone else help you and monitor that is an extremely important and reassuring aspect of this whole process. What I found most difficult, and this might be silly, but is a certain habit. Like, for years now, I've had this habit of a morning cup of chai with my biscuits. And like Jaishankar said, it's so easy sometimes to just let yourself slip off and say, harm could it do? Just one cup. It's just one biscuit. But if you can wrap your head around that and commit saying, in all these years that you've lived on the earth, what are 14 days? What are 12 days, right? And so I think mentally wrapping your head around, I would actually say it depends on each person. But if you can wrap your head around this, when you start, after that, you have the support. You have people like Dr. Ashwini. I had the support from my family because I told them that I was going to do this. It's not easy trying to follow a diet in the midst of, a full table of food, etc. So I think the difficult part is recognizing and undoing some of all those habits, which I suspect many of us build over a period of time. As it progresses, by the time you're going into the 10th, 11th day, the quantity of the ghee, you can get over it the initial reaction to it, you sort of get over it. But by the last day, when that purging happens, you're actually so mentally prepared. And I think your body is also prepared. So I would actually say that that's not so difficult. It sounds much more difficult and it actually is. But the process prepares you. So it isn't as daunting. I think the start is daunting, not the process.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. So I have a follow-up question based on the response that Shabari, you gave. You said you had support from the family and various other things. Now see, when you go and do a detox, Ayurvedic detox in a residential place, I mean, you pretty much get pampered. You are out of work. I mean, there is no daily chores that you have to manage, no official email, nothing, right? So you are there, you are being looked after, pampered, whatever you want to call it. This is something that you have to fit into your existing schedule. If you're going to work, you continue to go to work. If you're a homemaker, you continue to be a homemaker. And how easy or how did you fit that bit into this entire whatever number of days that you went through the program? This question is for all of you. Yep. Shukti, like.
I'm a teacher, right? By
I figured that.
Okay. So it really wasn't very difficult to fit into the day because there's not much you have to do. Ashwini sends you, the doctors send you the ghee and the medicine, and you just have to be mindful about taking it at the time that you have to. And then the diet is not complex at all. It's that porridge that you have to make. So I would just make a quantity of it in the early morning and then, have it as and when I needed it. I would carry it along with me to school. Have it during my lunch break. I just made sure I wasn't sitting at the community lunch hall because I did not want to answer 100 questions as to why I was eating such an insipid lunch. So yeah, lunch was isolated affair during those days. But yeah, it really wasn't so tough. The initial few days, there was a slight headache because of not having the copious amounts of tea and coffee that I am used to drinking. So the first 2 days I had that problem, but that went away gradually. So it really was quite easy to fit into the day. Yes, I also had to cook for the family and make sure that they were eating their normal food, etc., etc. But it wasn't bothersome. And when you start eating that diet, you really don't need too much of it. So you have a few spoons and you're like full and you're like, wow. And then as you progress into the diet, you're supposed to eat only when you're hungry. And I wasn't getting hungry till 2, 3 in the afternoon. So, it didn't even involve a lot of eating. So it actually, considering that I go to work at 7:45 and I get home at 4:30, it fit in really beautifully with my work day. So yeah, it wasn't difficult. It really wasn't.
Shankar, how did you manage to fit that?
Well, I think the going about the routine every day for work, that was not so tough. Actually, the tougher part was not doing stuff. Like, Dr. Ashwini was very strict that I shouldn't go for a run. I couldn't go to the gym. I can't do anything. So those were the stuff that was really bothering me rather than the stuff that I was supposed to do. Going to work and coming back, it never felt like it was anything different. It's just that, I had to mentally tell myself to have a cup of warm water more often than before. And anyway, I was not a big tea drinker, coffee drinker, so all of those things did not really hassle me much. So I think not doing a lot of stuff was the only problem that I had.
So it's an interesting point that you brought up, Jayashankar, because I also went through the same thing. I mean, much before
Right.
y'all went through it. And when Ashwini said, you're not allowed to exercise, you're not allowed to run for 15 days. I'm like, I can't do that. I'll do everything else, right? I relate to what you're saying. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. So I actually told her that, I'm going to do this yoga, and she was very particular that, I have to do not the hard part, the big part. So I somehow managed to, continue with my yoga for a few more days.
Yeah. I was a very obedient student.
I didn't keep her very well informed of my activities around that. That's one way I could get away with murder.
Right. So she told me the same thing. No yoga, nothing. I said, not even yoga, mild yoga, nothing. You want to do it, walk for 30 minutes. That's all she allowed me to do. And that was tough. Shabri, what was your how did you manage to fit it?
Now, see, this is why I say that this program is so customized and beautiful, because what you both found difficult, for the lazy person like me, that I found it perfect, that I didn't need anyone to push me about an exercise routine, which I would anyway grudgingly just do. So the fact that I could say, okay, now I don't need to do this tough walk. I can walk easily for 30 minutes is no big deal. But no, jokes apart, I plus on what they said. Fitting it into your daily routine of work is not really difficult. It's all those questions that you've got to answer to people that can be quite irritating. Well, I did it during the lockdown. So you could argue that actually there was an increase in workload because there was just incredible amount of housework that needed to be done, especially at the start of the lockdown. But my regular routine is actually a lot of training and facilitation, which means I'm on my feet the whole day. Right? It's a 6-hour program, 7-hour. I'm not sitting, I'm standing throughout the day. And it's no challenge. It's really no challenge. Even the first time when I did the detox, I've done full day programs. It's the headache that starts off. And I think the headache is something that you can, if you know you're aware that, okay, this is going to happen, then just hydrating yourself is easy. But to your question about your schedule, I don't think that's such a big thing.
Okay.
I will answer. So before giving the program for all of you, I experienced it myself, so that I could tell or my patients or my customers what will they experience. Okay, and trust me, even on the day of loose motion, I was working. Okay, so I took 240 ml of ghee, the maximum amount of ghee that a person could take, and I was experiencing this difficulty after 120 ml, how to take. Okay, but then when you're determined on, or when you're focused and what your motto is and what you want to achieve. So my motto was to explain my patients or my customers that ghee taking is not difficult. If you're mentally strong, then that becomes very easy. Okay, and I can't even drink water. I can't gulp it. I have to sip it and drink, because I believe you have to drink it. You have to understand what you're taking. You have to, your digestion starts from your mouth. Okay, but that is very difficult when you're taking ghee. So you have to gulp it down. If you taste it, because all ghees are different, it tastes different. So you might end up puking. Okay, and don't take it at once. Don't gulp it down, because you end up throwing it. So you have to gulp it in small quantities. You can take half an hour. It's okay, but you have to gulp it down. So that was the first thing when I learned, and so I could explain it better to my patients or customers. The second thing, porridge. Okay, we eat this, that every day, but you're focused. You want to achieve something, and it is for your benefit. Okay, you reap what you sow, right? So cutting down on food, it's absolutely fine, and of course this is nutritious. It's very easy to digest. Okay, so it's also tasty. If you make it properly, it is really tasty. So you can just gulp it. Okay, it's easy to swallow. So, and when it is hot, it tastes even better. So that diet is actually very easy, but it's only your mind that craves for food and not your stomach. Okay. And the third thing, massage one could enjoy. So they'll all forget about the difficult part of taking ghee and for it, so they can pamper themselves. And massage is something that it heals the body. Okay,
Right.
so it pampers you. You can at least in so many days you would have not have taken any massage. So 3 days at a stretch massage is actually pampering. It's actually very good. So it will make you forget the entire process, what was difficult for you. Yeah.
Right.
And the last day, the Virechana part, whatever you have taken has to go out. And
Right.
that also helps in balancing your dosha. And I had 40 motions, 42
Wow.
motions to be precise.
Wow.
And I was working. Okay. Only thing that you have to remember is sip hot water. When you block your mind, what happens? Oh, I have had so many motions. Am I going to be all right? That is when it breaks. That is when
Right.
your confidence breaks.
Right.
Okay. So that is why I keep saying everybody that each and every motion that you pass, please message. So you have a task to do there. You have to message
Right.
me on what is happening. Okay. And when somebody else is boosting you that nothing is going to happen, you're fine, you're fine. So you're mentally prepared for that. Okay.
Right.
So nothing is difficult. Everything is very easy. Okay.
Right.
And why I ask, or why Ayurveda physician asks you not to do any rigorous workout is because the doshas are meant to move downwards. Okay. And if you are working out rigorously, what happens? There could be an imbalance in the dosha that is happening. Okay.
Okay.
For example, Jayashankar and Shrikant, both of them are what athletes? No, they are marathon runners, and they also run too much and cycle too much. And I think he is very fond of Shrikant is very fond of Shirshasana. So when you do all these things, what happens? The dosha, instead of moving downward, it moves upward.
Yeah.
Okay. So when there is an imbalance of dosha happening, the exit of the motions do not happen properly. Okay. It might also block the mind. Okay.
Right.
So they might faint in between. So that is why it's very, very important that walking is okay. No problem. Okay. And even if you're in the center, you walk around and you just fold the cloths. When you're cooking, it's just cooking. You don't have to, you don't have to grind everything by yourself. You have all machines at your home. So nothing is difficult. Most of them have maids. They do the job. Okay. Or even if you're doing yourself, you just grooming. You're not, you're not you're not lifting any heavy weight and keeping aside.
Right. Right.
So these normal chores of your house you can definitely do, and walking is something which is balancing. So it helps in moving of the doshas downwards. It helps in balancing of the apana vata. So it's okay. Walking is allowed. The rigorosity of the walking varies depending on what you are looking for.
Right.
If you're looking for weight loss, then I ask them to walk, brisk walk for 1 hour and not more than that. Okay. Otherwise, normal walking, general walking, it's fine, no problem. So yes, I understand the difficulty of Jayashankar and Shrikant, who are really, into fitness, and for them it would have been a block kind. They would have
absolutely.
They felt as if they are jailed, restricted.
Absolutely.
But it's fine. It's just 14 days. You are also achieving something out of it. So it's fine.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I have a follow-up question from what Shukti said and what Shabri said. They said because they didn't have tea and coffee, they started getting this headache. What are the abnormal feelings or side effects that somebody could experience going through this program?
Okay. It is for me, right?
Yeah, it's for you.
Yeah. So normally a headache for most of the people is common for the first 3 to 4 days, because they would have, they would have this habit of drinking coffee and tea like water. Okay. Or even at least morning coffee, like Shabari said, she is something who wants morning coffee or tea, which makes them feel fresh. Okay. So again, your tea is tannin C, is caffeine. So you get addicted to it. It's kind of addiction. So this withdrawal symptom, you could call it as headache, is common. And those who are not used to coffee and tea also might experience headache, because there is a drastic change in the diet that is happening. From a very delicious diet, what they are taking on a daily basis, to a very bland diet. Okay. So this craving of food can cause headache. They might feel that they have not eaten enough, or they might feel that it is not very tasty for the tongue. Okay, because of this, they might experience headache, which is one of the side effect you could call it so during the metabolic improvement phase during the first 3 or 5 days. Okay, it will be only there for 3 days, maximum 4 days. 5th day it is gone. Okay, so when they are taking ghee, most of them would experience, all of them would experience burping of ghee.
Mhm.
So in the process of digestion of ghee, the ghee you burp kind of ghee or you smell ghee when you burp. So the indication is that when you stop feeling that ghee burp, when there is clear belching, then the ghee is digested. That is when you actually feel hunger. So that is one during the time of ghee intake. The
Okay.
second one could be loose stools. They might pass more than one motion, or it can be 4, maximum 5, not more than that. Okay. Some of them, when there is a lot of pitta and they are not passing motions, they might end up getting skin rashes. I think during the time of the treatment, Shukti got skin rashes. So that is when the excess of pitta has to come out, you see. So it might show like blisters, but it is not itchy, it is not painful. It will go away after the treatment. So it's nothing to do with anything. And those who have irregular periods might experience the periods coming in during the time of Snehapana, which is okay. Okay. If they have painful period, very painful period, we stop the ghee intake and we let them to continue with the diet. Once the period stop, again we started from 30 ml of ghee for those who have periods during the time of the Snehapana. Okay. And yeah, that's all. These are the side effects that one could experience if you call it side effect.
All right. Okay, so very quickly, Shukti mentioned about headaches, and Shabari mentioned about headache as well. Jayashankar, did you have any abnormal feeling, side effects?
No, no. So I tend to, I don't have too much tea or coffee in any case. So
Okay.
those were the, I didn't have anything actually. I didn't even, somehow in the end, I didn't even pass enough motions. I felt like maybe I didn't do a great job.
Right.
Okay, so here, Jayashankar,
You
I
have
had
no
to ask
toxins, as
him,
we can clearly.
are you fine? Are you fine? I'm absolutely fine, doctor. It's okay. I'm good. I'll mention if there is anything, any problem. So he was like that. He's experienced, I guess, a lot of treatments before. So he was kind of used to it.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
I put my body through extreme tortures, in not just Ayurveda, any kind of diet. So I guess this was not so difficult.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. So we have two audience questions. Before I ask those questions, I have one important question to ask Dr. Ashwini and also all of you who have gone through the program. Dr. Ashwini, tell me, Panchakarma is considered to be a very good program and it gives a lot of benefits. Can you just highlight some of the benefits that somebody can experience going through this program?
Oh, you're talking about Virechana, right?
Yes.
So what Virechana does, as I said before, its main intention is to balance the pitta in the body. And the seat of pitta is the yakrit or the liver. Okay. So when I say that, the fat metabolism is improved in the body and your liver gets detoxified. There is a purification of blood that is going to happen during the process, and your entire GI tract is going to get cleansed, completely cleansed. At least 80% of it is going to get cleansed. Okay. And one could also lose weight anywhere between 2 to 8 kgs. And the maximum weight that I have seen somebody lose is 15 kgs during 14 days. He was 183 kgs and he came down to 170 kgs during the time, 13 to 15 kgs. Yeah. And then I asked him to take another treatment after, that was Vamana, but after 6 months. Yeah. Okay, because you're not supposed to do everything entirely continuously. If that is to be done, then that also has time specification, and for that to happen, you have to stay in-house. Okay, and then you can also, if there is a lot of cholesterol, high cholesterol in the body, then that could be brought down during this time. Those who are borderline diabetic, for them, the diabetes level is going to go down. Okay, it's going to come in the range. It has slightly increased. Or for somebody whom it is like 12 or 13, they might expect some reduction in the HbA1c levels. Okay, and also the skin texture, the skin quality is going to improve. It's going to become shiny and it's going to become lustrous, and you will feel very relaxed or light. So you have the energy. You'll also feel young during the process of the treatment and also after that. Yeah.
Okay.
So these are and for those who have PCOD, that is polycystic ovarian disease, or for those who have imbalance or irregular cycles, they can expect to normalize their cycles as well. And as I said before, I was practicing in China. So Chinese are people where not experienced in taking ghee at all. They don't know what ghee is. They don't even know what butter is.
Right.
Okay. So they don't take. What they use is oil, and meat every time. Okay. So and I started. Me and my husband, Dr. Mundi, both of us started Virechana in China, and both of them had given a couple. Okay, they were having this problem of conceiving. They were trying to conceive from past 2 years, but they were not able to conceive. So we just told them that, okay, why don't you try with Virechana? It has nothing to do with any of the medications, herbal supplements. And we had to explain them what is ghee and everything. And both of them took it. The girl was extremely thin. Okay, she was just 30 kgs.
Oh.
She was very, very thin, very, very lean. And
Okay.
we had to look into that she doesn't lose any weight. At the same time, she detoxifies completely. Okay. And the husband was a smoker. So we had to cut down on his smoking and also help him through the process. He also quit smoking after that. And so 1 month after they finished the process, she conceived. And they named the boy Ayush because they got it from Ayurveda. So they named him Ayush, and he is 5 years now. So they were very happy. From them came a lot of other couples who wanted to conceive. And the second couple got conceived after 3 months of Virechana. They did try IUI and IVF. They hadn't.
Okay.
And after 3 months, they conceived normally, naturally.
Right.
So these are the benefits of Virechana. You could talk about.
All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. So I would like to know what are the benefits that you all individually experience going through this program. Shankar, you want to start? Okay, who wants to?
Okay, I'll start Shukri style. So as I said, and I think I said that before, this feeling that you're clean, I think that was that's the one thing that I really experienced, and feeling that you are younger. I think, the weight loss was a added benefit. I mean, I did lose a few kgs for sure, but the biggest single feeling that I just felt clean. I think I would like to just reiterate that and focus only on that.
Right. Okay.
Detox, rather. I think that's probably what you're going for, right? Yeah. I kind of tox myself up and then do the detox, and then I tox myself and then do the detox. Seems like, it seems like you can wash away your sins. Like this is like the absolute washing away of all sins, going to Ganga kind of a thing. Right, so.
All right. Okay, Shabri? Shabri, you want to go next? Yeah, carry on, Shabri.
I think the internet.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yeah. Yes.
So physically, yes, but that wasn't the main benefit that I would ask people who are interested to focus on. And yes, the skin felt better, but the general sense of well-being.
You lost her. Did we lose her?
She's not there.
Shabri, we lost her.
Work issues probably.
Yeah, Shukti, you can start. Maybe she's just got locked out. Yeah.
Okay. So for me, weight loss was the hook, and I did lose a lot of weight. I lost 8 kilos in the 14-day program. I was
Okay.
absolutely thrilled. I felt a lot lighter. My knees had been hurting, my ankles had been hurting. All of that eased up with the weight loss. Yes, the general feeling of the detox also was awesome because the very fact that I was on such a healthy, clean diet for 14 days mentally also helped pep me up. So yeah, these were the two benefits that I took away from the program.
Okay. Fantastic.
You can talk about it as well. You also
Oh, yeah,
experienced.
sure. I will definitely talk about it. So, in my case, yeah, I did this like almost 9 months, 10 months ago. Um, I got a lot of benefit. I didn't have any reason for doing this program. The only reason I had was I theoretically knew what Panchakarma was. I just want to experience so that I'm in a position to talk to customers about the benefits. So I lost about 4.5 kgs by end of the 15th day, and then my body age became low by about some 4 years or 5 years. I became younger in 15 days. That was one more benefit. And the biggest benefit for me was all these ultra marathons, whatever nonsense I keep doing, my BP was really high, right? By the third day of Abhyanga, it became normal. 120 by 80, it was like a miracle. I just couldn't believe that it was possible. That I think is the biggest benefit. Yeah. Shabri, yes, we lost you.
Yes, I know. Sorry. You know,
No
the
problem.
best excuse that we have in these times, it's the network, folks. Yeah. So I wanted to, the physical benefit was that, like Dr. Ashwini said, I had been, borderline diabetic. I was warned by the doc saying, take care of it. And I dismissed that whole piece. But I did take my test again just a few weeks ago, and definitely the levels have dropped down. So physical benefits, a sense of psychological well-being is a huge plus, is what I would put.
Yes, right. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I have a
yeah, sure.
question
Yeah.
for Dr. Ashwini. Everybody's skin was lustrous and all, but I don't think I felt any such thing. My skin was exactly the same before, after. Nobody ever said anything.
You can
Probably you didn't observe it. Probably you didn't observe it.
Jayashankar, you can include me as well.
It's that
Maybe it just
mischievous
works for
part of
women.
Jayashankar, Ashwini. They were the two who did not listen to you. Yeah, Shukti and I were your
did
best
that.
students, right? So that was the reason, Jayashankar.
No. They would have experienced
I used to
something.
scratch myself every day. I would do everything, just do nothing.
To see
It's
whether
all
the
the
ghee is
same.
coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I would really literally scratch it and there would be.
You can't take out ghee from your skin. No, that is not something. It's just the applying of moisturizer, a thin layer of oiliness that you would feel.
All right.
It works only with women, I can tell you. It doesn't work with men.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. My husband takes it every 6 months once. He takes it. Okay,
Okay.
though he's an Ayurvedic doctor, though this experiment thing or to tell people what should happen, it's only in me. Okay, so Dr.
Okay.
Murli had never taken it before, but he was the first one who went to China. Okay, and Chinese, most of them are very thin. Though they are thin, they want to still become thin. Okay, I don't know what's into their mind of becoming thin. So they are thin. Yeah. So Dr. Murli was on the overweight side. He was around 90. He's 5'8.5". Okay. So he, though I kept on telling him, you take Panchakarma, take Panchakarma, he never took. Only when that he wanted to go to China and he was like, yes, I have to cleanse myself and then go. Otherwise people will look at me, not as a doctor, but as somebody fat. You have to become a role model for somebody to follow you. So that was there in his mind. It was not for me, but it was for Chinese that he took the Panchakarma treatment. And he experienced this greasiness over the skin for 150 ml itself. Right. So he has a lot Mrudu Koshta than me. So he experienced with 150 ml only, but still he took 180 ml. just to experience. And he ended up Virechana on that same day. He passed about 8 times motions. Okay, so it's not advised. If you get the Snigdha Lakshana, you have to stop it there. You're not supposed to exceed it. Okay, so yes, even men do experience with little observation.
Really, I mean, right? I did 240. I mean, I was scratching
Right.
myself, all white lines everywhere. So anyway,
Okay, we are running out of time. We got only like 5 minutes. I got
Right.
2 audience questions. I'm
Right.
going to ask both the questions to Ashwini.
Mhm.
Can a person who is intolerant to lactose go through this program? I don't know, because it's got to do with milk.
Yes, it's got to
Yeah.
do with milk, but when the processing of ghee happens, the samskara changes in the ghee. So a
Okay.
person who is lactose intolerant can still do the virechana, but the quantity of ghee might come down. So you have to keep in regular touch with the patient or the person who's taking this process. And yes, they could still do it because the samskara of the ghee changes. Ghee, as I said before, it has the property of igniting the fire and bringing down the pitta. Whereas when you drink milk, it has a kind of loose motion property. It gives you loose stools. So lactose, people who are intolerant to lactose pass loose stools immediately after they consume this milk.
Okay.
But same thing doesn't happen when they consume buttermilk. They can
Okay.
still consume buttermilk because the samskara, the change in the form of
Form of the milk.
changes. So they definitely can do it.
Yeah. So there's one more question. I know the answer, but I would like you to answer as a doctor. So during lockdown, how does one go through the massages? Because we can't go to a Ayurveda center.
Yes. So during the process, during this lockdown, considering this COVID situation, it's better that they do massage at home. So I will guide them on the direction of massage they can do. But if for the nice pressure and all, they could still take somebody's help at home and still do the massage. So no problem with that. They can still do it.
Okay, cool. One last question for Ashwini. What precautions should somebody take?
Follow what the doctor says and you will be in safe hands. Be in touch with him or her every day. And you're fine. Don't deviate from the guidelines that is given to you. Otherwise, you might end up getting skin rashes instead of benefiting out of it. Otherwise, you might end up gaining a lot more weight instead of losing weight. Okay. So please stick to the advice given by the Vaidya. And you will be in safe hands. So don't worry about it. You don't have to do anything else.
All right. So last question to all the three of you. What benefits do you continue to see even after going through the program? Because I know that some of you have gone through the program like some 2 months, 3 months, 4 months before. Shukti?
So I've been able to sustain the weight loss, and I am a lot more conscious of what I'm eating, and those are two important takeaways for me because since weight loss was what I wanted to gain, I've tried to stay there. I need a little more discipline to actually lose further. But yeah, I've managed to not put back anything. So yeah, and a little more disciplined in my lifestyle.
Yashankar?
Yeah, I think, the feeling of being, that internal feeling that I kept saying, it lasts pretty long, right? But I guess you need to do this once in 6 months or once, that's recommended, right? To keep recharging. The benefit, you can actually feel good like for weeks, and maybe it starts diminishing right towards the end, because anyway you tox yourself up a lot also, right? So but I think this whole program in general leaves a lasting benefit because it just raises the baseline of everything that you need to do in a good sense, right? And so that continues. Some of it becomes more like a habit rather than
Right.
because of the program. It's just the way you're more conscious about doing a lot of stuff around you.
Okay. Okay, Shabri, what would you like to say?
Very similar. In fact, I lost more weight even after the
Oh,
12 days
fantastic.
because I persisted. It
Wow.
was easy to. It was
Right.
easy to change your lifestyle. And I would really think just the mindfulness that builds in and so much more confident that, hey, I can do this again. You know,
Yeah,
in 6
yeah.
months, 8 months, it's not such a big deal. So,
Right.
So definitely the benefits are not just the physical piece, but it's the lasting benefit of just how one feels and thinks about oneself and their well-being.
I really like what you said in the beginning, Shabri. Get your mind to wrap around it, right? Get the mind to wrap around that. And that's a very nice visual image. All right. So thank you so much for taking time on a Sunday, family time. You've taken more than 1 hour to be with us. Thank you, Ashwini.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shukti. Thank you, Jayashankar. And thank you, Shabri. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you, Ashwini, again.
Thank you.
Lovely
Shukti.
connecting
Thank you,
again,
Ashwini.
Shukti, Shrikant, and Jaishankar.
Thank you, Shrikant.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks everybody. Thanks. Bye.
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 Bye.